Just a few days ago, one of probably the most legendary self-help, personal development, consciousness, law of attraction teacher, Bob Proctor, passed away. And over the last 9 years, I've been really, one of the biggest blessings of my whole life has been being mentored by Bob. For most of the last 9 years, we talked on the phone about once a month. And maybe besides my wife, my family, my health, the relationship that I was able to build with Bob over the last 9 years has been it's been the biggest blessing ever in my life. Bob changed my life. So with his passing, I've just been going back through our text messages, thinking back through all of our phone calls, and putting together all the top things I learned from him. And in this video, I was going to break down 7 of the top things that, it would probably be 1,000 things. He's one of the most generous, wise, caring individuals I ever met. And in a world where there's a lot of people that want to be coaches and teachers and speakers and authors, I have to say I never met anyone that embodied it better than Bob. And so in this video, in honor of his life, I was gonna break down 7 of these things that changed my life. When I first met Bob, I was about 21 years old. I was making a little under $2,000 a month. And before the end of my 20s, I became a multimillionaire. I have to say, Bob would say we're the ones that change our own life, and he just offers tools. But I have to say, I would not be where I am in my life without him. And I'm sitting out here watching the beautiful view of the mountains. And this is a place where I would sit during my conversations when I would talk with Bob. And so I thought it would be fitting. So if you haven't yet, make sure you smash the like button on this video. If you have an awesome story of things you learned from Bob and you want to share them in the comments right there down below, I'd love to feature them in another episode, maybe for the next month or so. I was just going to make a lot of content in honor of his amazing life and in honor of his amazing message. You can share it down below. I have a free success hypnosis. It's right there down below. It's jakeshypnosis.com. It's pinned to the comments and in the description right there down below. You can go ahead and you can get that. You may or may not know, but I made that in honor of Bob when I was 21 and he started teaching me all these things. He told me to make a success hypnosis and buy this thing called a sleep pillow, which I had never heard of. And it's this pillow that goes right into your cover of your pillow, and you listen to it while you sleep. And so I started listening to it like a nut, 10 hours a day. And it was one of the things that really changed my life. And so if you want to check out the success hypnosis that Bob inspired, the link to it's pinned to the comments and in the description right there down below. And without further ado, I hope you enjoy these 7 things I learned from my mentor, Bob Proctor, and who I consider one of the many angels in our world that has maybe touched more people's lives than anyone I could possibly think of. So much love to Bob and much love to you. So the first one that I put on my list is gratitude is the attitude that hooks you up with the infinite supply. That's a Bob Proctor quote. And I was looking through our old text messages the last day or so since he passed away. My biggest mistake is I cleared my phone storage, so I don't have all of our text messages over the last 10 years. And it's probably one of the only regrets that I have. But this is one of the last text messages that he sent to me. Gratitude is the attitude that hooks you up with the infinite supply. And one of the ways that you can apply this into your life that Bob had me apply it into our life when he was mentoring me was 40-day gratitude challenge. And as I was reading back his text message, he said, make gratitude a habit and your success is guaranteed. with a bunch of stars after it. And so what he had me do is a 40-day gratitude challenge where I made a list of 10 things I was grateful for. Then I would text it to him in the morning to prove that I did it. And so you could find a partner, an accountability partner, and you each send text message every single morning of 10 things that you're grateful for. Now, I want to talk a little bit about what I learned, because when you hear this phrase, it may just sound like another person saying another cliche, but when Bob says gratitude is the attitude that hooks you up with the infinite supply, what he's talking about is, Bob always says that spirit energy is omnipresent, meaning it's 100% present in all places at all times, and that energy is never created or destroyed. So if spirit is energy, spirit is God, and spirit is never created or destroyed, then this flow of infinite energy, because if it's never created or never destroyed, it's infinite in nature, then it's the natural order of the universe. And the only way we get out of alignment with it is when our mind gets in the way. Start focusing on our problems, our stresses, and we forget to be grateful. But once we're grateful, it's not just like a cliche of like, yes, I'm grateful and let me burn my incense. Gratitude actually connects you with spirit energy. It brings you in harmony with the natural laws of the universe. And when you're in harmony with spirit, when you're in harmony with God, then you become a vehicle for that infinite supply. And that's why he says gratitude is the attitude that hooks you up with the infinite supply. Now, number 2 is the law of relativity. And Bob teaches that there's 11 universal laws, and one of those universal laws is the law of relativity. And in our most recent phone conversations that we were having, he was teaching me about how to use the law of relativity for money. And I'll get to in step number 5, I'll talk about how you set your goals. But Bob is the type of person that actually believed every single thing that he talked about. So much so that he would challenge me with my goals to a point where I literally thought he was insane when he would say them. And he has a thing that he used to say all the time to me that, Jake, do what I say until you find out I'm lying or I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not lying and I do know what I'm talking about. The reason that he said that was important was because when he was 26, he was $6,000 in debt, and he was making $4,000 a year. And of course, this was quite many years ago. And his mentor told him, "You're always sick, you're always broke, and you're very unhappy. Why don't you just do what I tell you to do?" And that's where he adopted that mindset of finding a mentor and then do what they tell you to do until you find out they're lying and they don't know what they're talking about. And so he would give me exercises, and one of these exercises was with the law of relativity. So he had this big goal that he has set for me. I've yet to accomplish it. I know I can feel his energy, and I know this is going to be the year. I really can feel it. So the law of relativity is what he would call, for instance, in a financial sense, but you could do it with any goal, is making $1 million look small. And so he told me, hey, make this your goal. And I said, Bob, I have no idea how to do that. He said, well, that means you're on the right track. But secondly, the only reason that you don't know how to do it is because you think it's a big goal. Bob said, if that was my goal, I'd be in big trouble. My company would be out of business at such a small goal. So he said, you need to use the law of relativity. The way that you use the law of relativity with your goals is, 1, look at somebody more successful to you. The only reason you think your goal is large is because it's relative to your past. But if you can disassociate with yourself as your past and disassociate yourself with your body. Bob used to always say, I'm a spiritual being in a physical body. And there was a point in time where if Bob said to me, who are you? I would have said, I'm Jake. I'm this many years old. My name is Jake Ducey. This is who I am. This is my past. And he says, that's not who you are. That's your body. And Bob has a funny line in one of his seminars, The Science of Prosperity. And he says, you never heard anybody saying, I'm body, or I'm hand. Body's not coming into work today. Body's sick. Hand's not coming into work today. Hand is sick. You're not your body and you're not your mind. And so he said, the only reason you think a goal is big or unachievable is because you're not evoking the law of relativity in a correct way. And when you start to reframe it in your mind, it starts to look small. And so what he said to do was start to pull out a calculator and break down how to make whatever your goal is small. Let's say your goal was $10 million. Break down how you can make it small, evoking the law of relativity, or compare it to somebody else. Not in a way where you're comparing yourself to them and seeking validation out of comparing yourself, but doing it in regards to understanding everyone comes from the same universal source. We're all connected to the same mind, and there they are over there. So your goal is only big to you or unachievable to you relative to your certain paradigm that you have. But if you can imagine yourself in their paradigm, all of a sudden the goal becomes small, and you realize that, as he quotes a lot, William Shakespeare said, nothing is good or bad except thinking makes it so. Well, similarly, nothing is big or small except your thinking makes it so. Or nothing is achievable or unachievable except your thinking makes it so. So you can evoke the law of relativity in your life in order to essentially talk yourself out of or break yourself out of your old thinking pattern that believes you're only capable of so much. So the third thing that I learned from Bob is about hypnosis and hypnotic writing. And this was the very first technique that I used when I started working with Bob. I was 21, I was making a little under $2,000 a month, and I used to always say, like the first time I had a conversation with Bob, I shared in another video, Bob became my mentor because we have a mutual book agent, literary agent, and our literary agent set us up on an interview, and at the end of the interview, I knew one of his favorite lines from his favorite book, Think and Grow Rich, was when Andrew Carnegie told Napoleon Hill to stand in front of the mirror and recite this phrase that, Andrew Carnegie, I will not only equal your achievements in life, but I will catch you at the post and pass you at the grandstand. And Bob thought that was really funny. He really liked that part of the book. And so when I first had my interview with Bob, at the end of the interview, I said, Bob, before you hang up, I just want to say one thing. Bob Proctor, I will not only equal your achievements in life, but I will catch you at the post and I will pass you at the grandstand. And he just started laughing. He thought it was really funny. And he said, well, you should take my cell phone number and I'll mentor you. And that was how we met. And on our first mentorship call, I told him how old I was. I was 21. And he said, why the hell do you keep telling me how old you are? He said, it's like you're using it as an excuse for where you are in your life right now. Your age has nothing to do with it. Age has nothing to do with success. Age has nothing to do with financial achievement. And age has nothing to do with what you can and can't accomplish in your life. He told me to banish that thought and replace it with, stop saying, I'm a 21-year-old author, and start saying, I'm a worldly successful author and speaker making millions of dollars and inspiring millions of people. So he told me to get a pillow speaker and to create a success hypnosis and start listening to it every day. And I said earlier, if you want to use that success hypnosis that was inspired by him, the link to it is in the description and it's pinned to the comments right there down below. You could get it for free. And so I started doing that every day, combined with what he called hypnotic writing, which was, instead of the gratitude exercise where you make a list of what you're grateful for, in the hypnotic exercise, you write about what you're grateful for as if it's already happened. So I would write about my books being successful, all these types of whatever my goals were. I would write about them in the present tense as if they were successful while I would listen to my success hypnosis. I learned from Bob that the thing that you think is you is really just a collection of thoughts, feelings, and habits, which Bob calls a paradigm. But that paradigm is subject to change, or it can be changed through constant spaced repetition, which is a word that I don't know if he coined, but it's a word he used all the time. Constant spaced repetition. Constant spaced repetition is when you are constantly using the law of repetition to change a pattern program in the subconscious. So through hypnosis and hypnotic writing, I changed not only who I believed I was, but I changed what I believed about reality. And I started to feel as if I was this person living in this reality that hadn't yet happened yet. And when that started to occur, my subconscious shifted, and then my outside world shifted as a result of that. So that's hypnosis and hypnotic writing. So you could check out a pillow speaker if you want, or you could just start using hypnotic writing. And if you want, you could check out my success hypnosis for free in the description and pinned to the comments right there down below. The next thing that I learned from Bob was to understand clearly what it is that you want by being honest with yourself. What do you want? Not what you think you can get, but what do you want? And then to put that on an index card. I wrote what he told me to write. I put it on an index card with my first ever financial goal. I never made a financial goal in my whole life because I didn't think that my financial life could change, I guess. And so you get a 3x5 index card. Bob calls them goal cards. He has them printed out real nice. You could get a nice printed one from his website, or you could just get a 3x5 index card, which is what I like to do because I like to write in really big letters. And you take that 3x5 index card and you write what you want in the present tense, beginning with, I am so happy and grateful now that. And then you write whatever it is in the present tense, just one or two sentences. And I started carrying it with me everywhere that I went. And I would use the law of repetition and I would listen. He gave me every one of his seminars. When I first met him, he gave me access to every one of his seminars. So I downloaded them all on my phone, and I would go on a walk every day for an hour or two, whatever, and I would listen to his seminar over and over again, or a different one every time. And I would carry my index card in my hand with me. And he said, the problem is that your cells have been wired to the present level of your environment. And if you keep deciding your future based off of your senses, you're really just reinforcing the same cells of your brain. So what you have to start doing is you have to start using the index card and carrying it with you everywhere you go to activate new cells in your brain. So I, like a crazy person, carried it with me everywhere I went. In the grocery store, on walks, I'd write a new card every day. We'd find them all over the house. And a funny story is, He said, look, I'll help you as much as you want, but if you don't do what I tell you to do, I'm not going to help you. So I just did everything he told me to do. So with the index card, I took them with me everywhere. And I'd put them like on the Stairmaster on the display. I'd put them on the Stairmaster display. So when I'm working out at the gym, I would be seeing it like I'd get like a million subliminal impressions every time I'm on the Stairmaster. One of my friends, Josh, I get a phone call from him and he's like, dude, you're not going to believe it. I know you're a huge Bob Proctor fan. I was just in the gym and I found some guy's goal card on the ground that said, I'm so happy and grateful, blah, 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 blah. And I said, is it written in black Sharpie on the unlined side of a 3x5 card? And he said, yeah. I said, that's my card. And so I remember I was so proud of myself that a random person found it, because I could tell Bob, look, here's how much I'm applying what you're doing. And so that's an index card that you can write and put them in your pockets, put them in your wallets, tape them to the side of your mirror. I tape one onto my computer, so I'm subliminally seeing that all the time. So this is an index card you could start to use. Number 5 is that there's 3 types of goals. There's an A-type goal, a B-type goal, and a C-type goal. So Bob says an A-type goal is a goal you already know how to do. You make $40,000 and your goal is to make $40,000 again. A B-type goal is a goal you think you know how to do. I make $40,000 and I'd like to make 50. It's a goal if all things align, I should be able to do that. It rationally makes sense. Now, a C-type goal is a goal you don't know how to do. So it doesn't make rational sense, which means you can't use rational thought to achieve it, which means you have to raise your level of awareness instead of just shift your current level of thinking. So a B-type goal is a goal you know how to do, which is, if anybody sets goals, they normally set B-type goals, he said, because of something that he coined called the terror barrier. And the terror barrier is a pattern plan in the subconscious mind that tries to use self-protective mechanisms to keep you safe and feeling okay. So most people, if they set goals at all, they set B-type goals, which are goals that they know how to do, or they think they know how to do, because they don't want to, our subconscious wants to protect us. So it doesn't want to set a goal we don't know how to do, because it doesn't want us to face the fear of failure or the other emotions associated with not achieving a goal and what that could do to our psyche. So the ego protects ourselves by setting B-type goals. But a C-type goal is a goal you don't know how to do. And he says the reason a C-type goal is so important is because of not what you get in the process, but who you become in the process. It's the growth in that which relies off a greater connection to spirit a greater connection to your true self, because the only way to achieve a goal like that is to totally transform yourself, is to totally move beyond your own identity, your own personality, and your current level of awareness. So you can pick a C-type goal. As I said, Bob picked the C-type goal for me. And these are a goal that you quite frankly don't know how to do, but would be excited by the prospect of achieving it. Now, the point of this, as I said, that he reiterates constantly, is the point of a goal, which is a Henry David Thoreau quote that he quotes a lot. The point of a goal isn't what you get, but who you become in the process. So the question to achieve a C-type goal is, who is the goal asking you to become? Number 6 is there's a mysterious force of good that flows into your life when you push past your terror barrier. This isn't a quote from him, but it's something when I think back of what I learned most from him. There's a mysterious force of good that flows into your life and guides your life when you push past your terror barrier. Most people never push past their terror barrier, and then they move backwards when the terror barrier pops up. But he said if you can push past the terror barrier, that's when all the magic happens. And I found over the last 9 years of pushing past my terror barrier, with the help of Bob, every time I pushed past it, something really good happened. And then I would look back at the end of that year and go, holy cow, I can't believe XYZ happened, or oh my goodness, I can't believe this or this or this. But I only got to those places of pure wonder and pure overwhelming sense of gratitude for life. I only got to those places once I showed up for life. Once I exercised faith, once I exercised free will, and once I wasn't afraid to fail anymore. And when I would push into those territories of my life, that's when the mysterious and magical power of the universe, that force in the universe, would begin to guide and direct my life. And one of the ways that I would do that is an affirmation that I learned from Bob, that the miracle working presence of the universe flows to and through me. So if you want to repeat that affirmation right there down below, the miracle working presence of the universe flows to and through me. You could comment that down below. The miracle working presence flows to and through me. That since everything is energy and energy is never created or destroyed, and there's only one originating source of energy, we are all connected to that miracle working presence of the universe. But as I was saying earlier on step number 1 about gratitude is the attitude that hooks you up at the infinite supply, the only thing that separates us from the miracle working presence of the universe is our own level of awareness. But we can evoke the miracle working presence of the universe through an affirmation that realigns our consciousness with it. So you can comment down below, the miracle working presence of the universe flows to and through me. Number 7 is there is a divine order to the universe, and when you organize your mind, energy, and emotions in life, you harmonize with it. And this is what I noticed most about with Bob, is that Bob truly understood that everything was energy. He didn't think of things as physical or mechanical in nature. He viewed everything as energy. And so the way he exemplified that in his life was by understanding that there is a divine order to the universe, and that divine order, that divine flow, is one of harmony. And the way that we embody it is when we organize our mind, our energy, our emotions, and our life with that flow. And Bob was one of the most organized people I ever met. One time we spent a whole call where his advice was for me to clean off my desk. I know Bob didn't have anything on his desk, and he organized his mind in a similar trajectory. He had the same really amazing executive assistant and an all-around incredible person, Gina, as his assistant for so long, and he was encouraging me to organize my mind and my life similarly, in that he didn't clutter his mind with a lot of stuff. He had an incredible assistant that he worked with in tandem for a long time that he gave the same advice to. At least he told me. I am assuming that at some point I'd love to have Gina on my channel to talk about Bob. Bob told me one time his advice to Gina was to do the same thing. So what I did is I bought a desk that has no drawers. And so there's nothing on that desk except for what I'm working on in the moment. The rest of the desk is totally clear. So when there's no clutter in your life, there's no clutter in your mind. So the flow of your energy, which can be in a chaotic, because what's energy? It's a frequency pattern. So picture a frequency pattern that's chaotic versus a coherent signal, like a laser, a coherent signal. When your mind, your life, and your energy are in an organized state, then you are modeling the divine order of the universe, which means you're in harmony with it. So good ideas move through you, good energy moves through you, good opportunities move through you. The miracle working presence of the universe can move through you in a more synchronized and a more organized way. I think that was one of the most meaningful things that I learned from him, is that if you view everything just as energy, and you begin with yourself and look at the world as a mirror of your own frequency, and you take control of your mind, your energy, and your environment, and you harmonize that energy, your outside world reflects that back to you. And that's why Bob would work hard. He loved what he did, but Bob wasn't stressed while he worked. He had a quote that he used to always say in his Science of Prosperity seminar, which I highly recommend you check it out. You get it on Audible. And he would say, everybody's always saying, you have to speed up. And he says, you don't have to speed up. You have to calm down. And when you calm down, you will speed up. He said, slow down. We're just getting going. But everything he did was with a state of calm, because he was moving from the kingdom of heaven being within. So he wasn't doing actions out of need, out of lack, out of scarcity. He was doing actions from an already full cup, from a raised level of awareness of his true identity as one with God and a spiritual being in a physical body. And so, I wanted to, and I didn't make that many videos about my conversations with Bob. I always felt a little weird making them, just because he always told me to go out and share them and all that stuff. But I always felt a little weird, and I didn't want to feel like, I don't know. I'm not sure what it was, but now that he's transitioned, it's made me just reflect on so much of what I learned from him, and I wanted to share it with you in this video. And so if you never heard of Bob, then I recommend you check out the Science of Prosperity seminar. If you're familiar with Bob's work, you could leave me a comment down below. Let me know where in the world you're coming from. I know we touch people's lives and hearts from all over the world. I'd love to know where you're coming from. You could check out my free success hypnosis that I originally made inspired by him. It's pinned to the comments, and it's in the description right there down below. Make sure you smash the like button on this video, send it out in the YouTube universe, and let's continue this positive train of more and more of us continuing to wake up to our true selves. When you smash the like button, it sends it out into the YouTube universe. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button and bell notification. The bell notification notifies you for new videos, so even if you're already subscribed, just double check, have you hit the bell notification. And I'm going to be making a lot more of these videos about just really probably one of the most amazing people who ever lived. I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know in the comments down below, and looking forward to reading all the comments. I'll see you on the other side.